Well, Diaz, let's start with Sebastian Fundora. You're helping him in his training camp.
Me?
Yeah.
When?
I seen him at your gym.
Oh, before he would come around to this.
Yeah. Take all the credit now, Joe.
No.
Yeah.
You know, they're really good people. You know, we know them for a while. They're actually a couple miles from our gym. So there's times in which they come to our gym and get some sparring with some of my fighters, but no, I really don't. You know, I don't interfere with the training. I'm not part of this training.
Yeah. Okay.
His dad handles his work.
Okay. You know him well. What's your assessment on him? You like him as a fighter?
So that guy right there, that's a for sure world champion because he has all the advantage. That kid is a great kid. I can tell you this: he's a great, humble kid. Has a great school. And in boxing, I like him because it's hard to see such a tall fighter with such a great length of arms. They can fight inside and out. You know, I've seen him spar some of my toughest fighters that I got in the gym, some good super welterweights, and man, he's good. He's not a pushover. He's got everything. He has everything to become a world champion, and he can fight.
And of course, you're here for Omar Figueroa.
Of course.
He said he's worked on himself a lot. Just the changes you've seen from him personally, and in this training camp. What do you want to see from Omar Figueroa in this fight? Just the same old Omar Figueroa, or just more boxing, more?
Well, you're not gonna see much difference in style. Omar Figueroa has his unique style, and his style benefits him. All we make sure with Omar Figueroa in training camp is that he gets a proper training, that he's healthy, because Omar's main concern when he comes to camp is he wants to be free from injuries. You know, every time he comes to a camp, he always has injuries in his hands or similar situations that enables him to do a full 100% camp. For this camp, everything was great, no injuries. A great camp, weight is good, training was good. Mentally, he's ready because he took a long layoff, and after the long layoff, he's excited to come back. He's willing to get back on the road, and he's excited.
Yeah. I know it's between you guys as to what happens next, but not looking forward. What do you think the plan is for Omar Figueroa as he's at this stage of his career? What do you think the plan's gonna be?
The plan depends on Saturday. We cannot look past Ramos. He's a fighter as well, and we cannot take him lightly either, because anything can happen. You can never make a prediction and be precise. But all I can tell you is that after this weekend, we're going to have to make some adjustments. Omar Figueroa, either he stays at 47 or he goes back down to 140. He can make 140 no problem and do something there, go after a world title at 140, or if he's gonna stay at 147, we don't know. That's a decision we have to make after the fight. Because obviously after a long layoff, coming back from such a long layoff, coming down to 140, it was a little hard, so he decided to take the fight at 147. After this fight, May 1st, we'll figure out if he's gonna stay there and look for whatever is better for him, or go down to 140 and go after any world champion at the division.
Yeah, and this card is definitely two fighters I know about weight. They've had their struggles. Andy Ruiz versus Arreola, they're the main event. Yeah. Can you give me your prediction on that fight? And just when you see from both fighters from the outside looking in, I know you're not in their camp, but they both look very good, like maybe career best shape for both of them.
I could be wrong, but I like Chris. Chris Arreola is a great person. He's a great fighter. I've known him for many years. Andy Ruiz, I used to train Andy Ruiz. Actually, Andy Ruiz, if I'm not mistaken, I was his first trainer when he turned pro.
I didn't know that.
Because, when he left the amateurs, he used to live in El Centro. He moved to Indio, and I trained him there for a while. And that was early in his career, before he even turned pro, I think. And then from there, he came to LA, and he started training with other trainers, But Andy Ruiz has a lot of heart. The difference in this fight is this: it's a great matchup, but the only downfall on Arreola is his inactivity. That's it. Even though he's in great shape, he looks great. He looks physically great, but inactivity hurts you a lot. Even though Andy hasn't been fighting constantly, but he's been the more active fighter. He's a younger fighter. That's the only factor that benefits Andy Ruiz in this fight. Depending on Arreola's mentality, but he's tough. Arreola is, even though he's an older fighter and he's more on the end of his career, he can still fight.
Yeah.
He can surprise you. If Andy Ruiz is taking him light, he can get a big surprise. But I mean, honestly, in the long run, activity, and age, I think Andy Ruiz should take this fight.
You know, fighters come and go in camps. When you always get them the first training camp, can you really teach them a lot and then have them actually do it in the ring like Andy Ruiz is working with Canelo's team? How much more improvement do you think we're going to see from Andy Ruiz? Maybe the same, the old, better, or?
On a heavyweight fighter is different. There's all you have to do. Heavyweight fighters, you train them. I have a couple of heavyweights in my camp right now, and I noticed that those heavyweights, you train them differently. It's about more power, more being more aggressive. It's not about throwing punches in volume. It's about being effective. The change, I'm pretty sure Eddie Reynoso did his job, even though it's his first fight with Andy. I'm pretty sure that the job was done right. Because they train hard, and Eddie's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure he got the proper sparring, and he advised him well. So, it's going to take a couple of fights for a trainer and a fighter to adapt.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it with me. It takes about 2 to 3 fights in order for chemistry and understanding and learning the voices of command. But, on the first one, you should be fine.
Speaking of the chemistry, you just faced Canelo and his team, Eddie Reynoso. You know what he's capable of doing with his fighter, getting him in shape. What did you see from their corner and how the fight turned out and all, but just overall the chemistry that Eddie Reynoso has with Canelo, do you think a lot of that can resemble with Andy Ruiz?
Of course. When you got such a great elite team like the one Eddie Reynoso has, chemistry is always positive. It's all energy. It's all positive energy, and it's a motivational moment when everybody comes to train and they see the best fighter of the moment, which is Canelo Alvarez, train. Everybody, it's like when you go to a gym as a kid and you see a champion there. I mean, you want to be like that champion. And that's the benefit that Andy Ruiz has, that he's training along Canelo Alvarez, the best fighter of the moment. And obviously, you have to step it up. I think iron sharpens iron, and that's what makes a difference. That's the reason why Andy Ruiz is so confident, so motivated, and in such a great shape.